Alrighty, we just saw one of our favorite Star Trek, Next Generations, which
rewatching some of our favorites.
Yeah.
And
Season 1, episode 25, Conspiracy, which I'm not even going to get into about how the CIA created that word so that they squelch any actual conversations about them killing JFK or anything like that, or lizard people or men on Mars and shit like that, and Vikings were the first people on the moon, that kind of thing.
Oh, you're not going to get into any of that.
No, none of that. Or, the 83 hostages that were sequestered in a Burbank sound studio so Ted Koppel could get his Nightline show. But anyway, back to the episode.
Wow.
Oh, that's nothing. Believe me. We didn't talk about...
No, this is actually referring to an actual conspiracy.
Yes.
A really real thing that was really happening.
And they used the term, and they sounded just like Remington.
What?
Right? Remington?
Yeah. No. What?
The lieutenant.
Yeah. What was his name?
Reming, or was it Reming?
Yeah, Reming. Something like that.
He sounded just like a Democrat. We just want peaceful coexistence.
Right.
And then the Vulcan sounded like MSNBC, But anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, I would buy that was because he was compromised. And that would account for his behavior. Because he did not act like a Vulcan.
No. What he
said. He didn't speak like a Vulcan either.
What he said was MSNBC talk. But anyway.
Well, that too, but...
So, right off the first part of the episode is a sexual harassment complaint. Because Geordi's telling a lewd joke on the bridge during work hours in front of women and men in skirts.
In mixed company.
Yes, or mixed clothing.
As
whatever.
Much as you want to, mix it up.
Yeah. And Data appropriately reacts to it because it probably wasn't as funny as Geordi thought it was.
No, but Data had to analyze why it was humorous.
Yes, which is the funny part of it.
And okay, now I get it. You know, and he did his little fake laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. So first off, and then the big technical problem. Full Impulse is Warp 6.
Oh, dude, that was just an egregious error that shouldn't have made.
Fuck?
No, it shouldn't have made the cut. Somebody should have picked up on that. I don't care. You don't have to be a fanboy or a friggin'
nerd.
Go to Warp 6. Yes, sir. Full Impulse. What? No, and really, that always I never even picked up on it.
It always bothered me because I was like, wait.
But once you hear it, you can't unhear it.
Exactly.
And it's no.
And there's a lot in this episode that bothers me from a technical aspect.
Well, of course. There's a lot in it that, it's because it's a really good episode.
It is.
Good idea.
Yes. And it was supposed to
one of the best of the season.
And what I hated was how ominous it was at the end credits.
Yeah.
But then nothing ever again.
Yeah, they never came back to it.
And then there's a video.
They left it open-ended to come back to.
Yeah.
And they never did.
And something in the video game, well, I don't care about Star Trek Online. Sorry, kids.
No, but they never came back to it in the series.
Yeah.
Right. And should have.
Any of the series. So, thank God they didn't go to it in Enterprise.
But yeah, it was the second to last episode of the first season.
Yeah,
and one of the best episodes of the season.
Yeah,
and it really a favorite of the whole series.
Yeah,
for me,
it is a good one.
Even with some of the inconsistencies in the writing, that there are a plethora.
Okay,
but it is season 1, Next Gen, and there was a whole lot of that going on in.
No, I got one for you.
For the whole first 2 seasons.
I got one for you in the second season. Elementary, My Dear Data. So when Moriarty gives him that paper at the Enterprise.
Yeah.
How does he take it off the holodeck?
Right?
I'm just saying.
Little things like that.
And I know there's going to be some nerd that says, oh, well, the holodeck's like transporters and it could actually be real material.
Yeah,
I understand, but that's not the point. Because in the episode, The Long Kiss Goodbye or... The big kiss goodbye. Remember?
Yeah.
The holograms disappeared as soon as they stepped out of the holodeck. I'm just saying.
Right.
Just saying.
Because the holodeck is what contains all of it.
Yeah,
and
force fields, and
you can't. Yeah, and all the projectors, the holo projectors and everything are all focused inside that room.
Yeah,
you can't just walk out of the holodeck if you're not.
Yeah,
but potentially. You're living, it could be like a replicator and actually replicate a piece of paper that can be taken off the holodeck because it's no longer a hologram, it's a replicated piece of paper.
Anyway.
Dude, I'm the king of rationalizing whatever, man.
Oh God, he is.
I will find a way to rationalize it. If I can't rationalize it, it is fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I'll find a way and I'll make it work because it's me and I'm writing for them.
At least you're saying it now. So, all right. So my first problem is the transporter. The transporter has all these alarms and bells and whistles to detect things and this, that, and the other.
Like foreign objects or contamination in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Any kind of anomalies. Any anomaly in the
in TOS completely. I mean,
right, and these things went undetected through the transporter.
And then I don't even understand how
the one inside the guy's neck and the one that he had in the case that he was carrying with him were undetected by the transporter as some kind of unexpected foreign something,
inert material. I mean,
something that didn't match up to his bioscan, and there's something else present.
Yeah,
which you think it would go bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
So
you would think
that's my technicals where I'm just like,
so they were undetectable by the transporters. Okay, but yeah,
that's that I cannot. That is not. I can't.
Yeah.
It's just like nope. Like, really? Did nobody think about that?
Especially if it was a Starfleet officer who had been through the transporter system many, many times, and then all of a sudden got this thing in his neck that.
What the fuck is that?
That is a foreign something or other that doesn't.
So the pattern for those things are still in the transporter buffer.
You think, yeah.
And then how they work into the body doesn't make a lot of sense. They enter through the mouth and then.
Well, and okay, so all right, with the one in the back of his neck, right?
Yeah, that has the pincers into the
and they show
the glands.
It's like it's all like attached to the vertebrae in the neck. And
wouldn't you see the bulge in the neck?
But what about the one in the other dude's body?
Well, we're gonna get there.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you want to get there, then we'll get there.
But I'm just saying because this is like, wouldn't there be a bulge in the neck or something? Or
well, yeah, the way it was so tightly around his
man had a fat head,
bone structure. You know, it wasn't apparent. Didn't look swollen or. Yeah. It was just that little thing sticking out of the back of his neck, like the.
Yeah, but
that little.
But it just didn't make sense. It just. I mean.
So would that have been one that was? I mean, it's kind of like Alien, right?
Okay.
Where they're implanted in a host body.
Yeah.
And then they grow and whatever else and take on the attributes of the host or whatever, but
it just doesn't.
So if it was like an infantile whatever in the back of his brain, but what about? Okay, we're going there. What about the one in the dude's body?
Yeah, and so my whole thing is like with the one in Remic's body. Remic, not
Remic. Yeah.
Where were all his organs? Like, how would he be able to move around and function if he didn't have no guts or nothing?
If this thing that was as big as that was
hollowed him out,
right?
Yeah, I'm not trying to poo-poo the idea.
And I mean,
I'm just
and that's like it was very much like Alien, where it came popping out of the guy's chest or whatever.
And where was the energy?
The thing even looked almost like a predator, the way its face looked.
Where did the energy come from that showed the light.
That dissolved all of his
clothing,
outer skin. And opened the hole in his torso. Because they blew his head off.
Yeah, and as a creature, whether you're a parasite or whatever, is that the best way to protect yourself or try to save yourself? Is by doing that? Like, unless he's going to animate the body, I just
if it was symbiotically attached to that body, could it survive if it left that body?
Yeah.
It didn't even. It was like it just poked its head up and didn't even try to
And it didn't have any
zip across the floor, or
it didn't have any things or nothing. It was just kind of yeah.
And
fuck the that movie we saw, the basket case. He was more believable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, it just.
And we liked the episode, so we want it to make sense.
It's just the end just really didn't.
Just flew right off the fucking.
It did. Because it was, again, really good idea how they had infiltrated Starfleet and were in control of these high-ranking officers. And
it almost kind of because the one before, when the bow breaks, I think is the one they were referencing, with Admiral Quinn first shows up with Remington.
Yeah.
And, so that was kind of like serializing, and Rick Berman fucking hated that. So they wanted contained episodes for distribution and syndication, and so blah blah blah. So that's why the problems with Deep Space Nine, when
Michael Piller,
Ira Stephen Bear, wanted to more a connective story, and Berman wanted bottle episodes.
Well,
and I think that's why they didn't come back to it, because they wanted bottle episodes. Which, goddamn it, I'm just saying.
And
I'm not wrong. I just
no, you're not, because that is what their first approach was in the first two seasons, was episodic, self-contained episodes that didn't have to have a serialized.
Yeah.
But later in the series, there were several serialized storylines, like Worf's, discommendation and redemption.
And his goddamn brat kid and
that and yeah,
you
and it got good though.
And Riker's on and off relationship with any holster in the galaxy, and then with Troy. Let's talk about them just for a second. What a couple of dirt bags.
Who, Riker and Troy?
Yeah, they act like they live in a trailer park or something. You know what I mean? They just, or they're, or is that?
It goes all the way back to from day one they were exes.
Yeah, I know.
That's the whole thing. They were exes.
But there's an X. They're an X for a reason. I'm just saying.
Yes, of course they are.
Anybody
who's an X is an X for a reason.
Yeah.
But
pull that trigger. Fucking don't turn it.
But they still had the potential. Oh, but Riker couldn't go there with the subordinate because he was first officer now, and that was
let's talk about her.
Really?
Let's talk about her. Why the fuck was she on that bridge anyway?
Why? Yeah.
Seriously.
Why was she on the bridge?
Yeah.
She's a ship's counselor.
Yeah.
The only thing I can figure is that because she's Betazoid and empathic, that she could be there.
But other counselors,
any interactions with any species, the captain, and what she was
talking about in this show.
But
I'm just saying,
why was she on the bridge any other time than that?
Yeah.
Why was she called to the bridge? Because I have a consultation with the thing, and I need you to give me an idea what he's feeling. Da, 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 da. She shouldn't have been just on the bridge as a regular, constant presence.
Thank God that Jellicoe fucking set that straight.
Even in the Star Trek webisodes, the Star Trek Continues, they introduced a new character into the TOS that was part of a like a project that they were ship's counselors, like, so it was unofficial, but she was assigned to the Enterprise as a almost like an intern, and was introducing the idea of a ship's counselor to
that's how they let Ezri Dax get in. I'm just like, ah.
And so, but she wasn't a bridge officer. She was just a new addition to the cast and crew, you know.
Anyway, we kind of veered off. We got a lot of issues with Next Generation.
But Conspiracy, though, still
it's a good episode.
The end notwithstanding, because
if you just kind of just go into it, just kind of like, it's okay. I understand it's not the best thing ever, but it's fun. It's a fun episode.
Really, I remember the first time watching through the whole season in its first airings, and get to that one. I'm like, that one was really good.
I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Getting my appendix out.
And I was like, okay, so, yeah.
And what did my dad and my sisters do? They brought Burger King, and I couldn't have any. And they snuck it through the window because they couldn't carry it in. This is my... why don't I get any? Oh, because you already ate.
And the whole first season and second season mostly too, got the feeling that they really didn't know what they were doing.
And like The Child, which is season 2, episode 1, is a holdover from the first TOS.
Yeah.
Or phase 2. Because a lot of season 1 and 2 were leftovers from TOS that didn't get into the cartoon, or ones that were in phase 2 that never...
No, there were several scripts for phase 2. At least like 10 or 12.
Yeah. So and maybe The Child was phase 2. I don't know. Somebody check it and write me a comment, because I can't remember everything all the time.
That's not that.
Yeah, but it had a different. It did have a different feel to them.
To take something like that and rework it into the next gen, why not? But anyway, it just felt like they weren't really sure where they were going with it, what they were going to do with it. It was like, we're back on TV, now what do we do?
Right.
And it wasn't until season 3 that it really kicked in, and it
wasn't really until Best of Both Worlds. That's come on, let's call it what it is.
No, it got good, and by season 5, 6, it was one of the best shows on TV at the time.
Oh yeah, they finally got rid of Wesley. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't noticed, I don't like Wesley.
And they did a lot with it, and it actually had a direction, and it wasn't like just so meandering. So Conspiracy, though, probably one of the best episodes, easily the best episode of the season.
But it didn't make it in the top 5 of the fan favorites, because I watched that on Channel 9 or Fox 40. It didn't.
You should be top 10 at least. Maybe not top 5, but top 10 at least.
So,
what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Conspiracy. Good episode? Not so good? Are we crazy?
Was it shite? What? Let us know. Like, share, subscribe.